ways that serve the Sussex narrative and that damage, in ways large or small, the institution that made the visit possible. This is not speculation, it is the pattern. And the palace, which has watched the pattern repeat itself across years and multiple formats, is not willing to provide the raw material for another iteration of it. Now, there is something important to note about where Meghan fits into this analysis specifically. The palace's reluctance is not simply about Harry, it is disproportionately about Meghan.
Meghan Markle doesn't just use the media. We know this. She understands it, she controls it, and she builds this narrative with it.
This distinction matters. Harry, by multiple accounts, is someone who the king retains personal affection for. Their relationship is complicated and damaged and operating at reduced capacity, but it is not entirely gone. Charles is his father. There is something there that has not been entirely extinguished, however much the past several years have tested it. The people around the king, who have spoken on background about the possibility of some form of reconciliation, have consistently made the same observation: Harry alone is a different proposition from Harry and Meghan together. The reason for this is specific and not difficult to state. It is Meghan's relationship to disclosure that makes her presence at a private family gathering a categorically different risk from Harry's presence alone. Harry has participated in the disclosure. He wrote the memoir, he gave the interview, he made the documentary. His role in all of this is real and significant. But Meghan is the architect of the disclosure operation. She is the one who understands how media works and how narratives are built and how specific details can be assembled into a story that serves a predetermined conclusion.
That is what Meghan's motto is. That is what she needs to try to create the brand that she so desperately needs to be successful. We all know that her As Ever brand is failing. It has essentially failed.
She is the one who has demonstrated the most consistent and most sophisticated approach to deploying private family material for commercial and reputational purposes. She is the one who, in the words of people who have observed her professional operation closely, controls the narrative rather than simply participating in it. The palace is not willing to give her access to new raw material, not at Sandringham, not in any private family context that would provide the kind of intimate detail that her operation has proven capable of turning into content. This is the core of the answer. And it is worth stating plainly, because the public framing of the situation, the warm headlines about a son who wants to see his father, the sympathetic coverage of grandchildren who haven't visited in 4 years, consistently obscures it. The question is not whether Harry loves his father or whether Archie and Lilibet would benefit from knowing their grandfather. The question is what happens to the visit once it is over and the Sussex communications operation has had time to work with it. The answer to that question, based on everything the pattern demonstrates, is something that makes the palace regret extending the invitation.
Every time Meghan steps into the spotlight, every single time, we remember Princess Diana driving by when she went to Paris, where Princess Diana passed away. As an example, everything that she does publicly, the monarchy follows, and her title still carries weight globally, commercially, and culturally.
This leaves Harry with a decision that has been described publicly by people close to the palace in unusually direct terms. Come with the children if you must, bring Archie and Lilibet. Let the king see his grandchildren, allow that human connection to exist, but leave Meghan behind, or at minimum, accept that Meghan's presence is what closes the door, that Harry's presence alone might leave slightly ajar. Whether Harry is capable of making this choice, whether his relationship with Meghan and his loyalty to the project they have built together allows him to consider a return on those terms, is the genuinely uncertain question at the center of the current situation. The signs are mixed. Harry has shown in small ways that observers have been tracking carefully. Some willingness to create small distances from the full Sussex operation. The hand pulling back moments, the distancing from some of the more extreme positions on the racism narrative, the periodic suggestion in his own briefings that he is primarily a son who wants his father, rather than half of a brand making a strategic calculation. But these are small signs, and they exist within a larger structure that has been built together and that both parties depend on. Harry cannot easily separate himself from the Sussex narrative, commercially or personally, without also separating himself from Meghan. And that separation, whatever form it eventually takes, is not something that appears to be imminent. So the current situation holds. The invitation has not been extended. The door is not open. The palace has communicated its position through the channels it prefers, not directly, not officially, but clearly enough for anyone paying